this is a stretchy wrap. It is one continuous piece of fabric that has stretch to it and give. This carrier is ideal, in my opinion, for newborns. Generally, they go up to about 25 pounds for a weight limit, although a lot of people tend to find around 15 pounds they start getting uncomfortable. The most common carry done in this is called a pocket wrap front cross carry. And to do that, you are going to find the middle marker of your wrap. Some wraps have little tags sewn on for middle marker. Mine does not, so I just fold it in half and find the middle. And you're going to place the middle high on your chest, and then you are going to take one side, wrap it across your back and over the opposite shoulder. You want to make sure that it's not twisted or bunched up, and you're going to do the same thing with your other side. Wrap it around your body, across and over your opposite shoulder. So now you should look like this, and you're going to take your two tails, we call them, and you want to put them inside this little pouch you have on your front. Just like that. And you want to make sure that this is nice and snug and tight, so you can pull down, kind of guide some of your slack around to your tails. And then you're going to take your tails, cross them, and make an X about where you want baby to sit. Because my baby is a little bigger, I'm going to do my X lower, but for a younger baby you would want it up higher because they're smaller and you want their whole body shifted up higher. Once you have it crossed, make sure you don't get your tails twisted or anything. You want to bring your tails around to the back, and because I have a shorter wrap, I would just tie off in the back. But a lot of stretchy wraps are longer, so you could cross in the back, bring around to the front, and then tie in a double knot. But I'm going to tie in a double knot in the back. And you want to make sure you keep this nice and snug, because a stretchy wrap in its nature is stretchy and has a lot of give. So you want to make sure that it's snug so baby stays where you put them. So to put baby in, you're going to take this front pocket you made and just get it out of the way, put it down to the bottom, and kind of spread these to the side. I like to take the top one and kind of get that one out of the way too, because you're going to work with the inside one first. So you're going to grab your baby and put them on the opposite shoulder of your bottom piece, up in Burt position. If you're working with a smaller baby, you want to make sure you're maintaining a good grip on their head and neck so they're not flopping all around. And you're going to take and put their one leg through this first piece. And then you're going to do the same thing with the other side. Put their other leg through it. And then you're going to take your bottom piece and you're going to stretch that across baby and from knee to knee and up across their back. And you're going to do the exact same thing with your other piece. So fabric stretching from knee to knee and up the back. And now at this point, baby should be nice and high, close enough to kiss, and high enough that you can monitor their airway. So now you're going to take that pocket you made in the beginning and you're going to pull it over baby's legs and make sure it's not twisted, and guide it up all the way over baby's back and under baby's bottom. I like to tuck this little bit just under her bum just a little bit. But because this is a stretchy wrap, you do need 3 layers of coverage to make sure that baby's secure. To make yourself more comfortable, you want to make sure that your passes in the back are nice and spread out. And you can do that just by reaching in and kind of spreading them about, or you can ask somebody else to spread them for you. I used to do that a lot. You can also take and flip the shoulders. If that makes you more comfortable, it might make you a little cooler as well. If baby falls asleep, you can take and cover their head with one of your passes to keep them in place and not bobbling around. You just want to make sure that you can always see their face and monitor their breathing. Now, this is considered a poppable carry, so you don't have to untie in order to get baby out. So to get baby out, you're just going to slide that first pocket down and back over baby's feet. You're going to slide your first pass down and your second one down, and then you just grab and pull your baby out. And now, if you wanted to, you could leave this on, go to the store, and then when you get there, you don't have to retie everything. You can just put baby in and take baby back out. So that is a stretchy wrap. And now I'm going to show you a woven wrap, which is similar to a stretchy wrap, except for the material that is used to make it is woven together, and it does not have that same give that your stretchy wrap would. So this is a woven wrap. It's also just one long continuous piece of fabric. We call the ends the tails, and then you have your rails, which are the top and bottom portions. Now most woven wraps have middle markers, and so I'm going to start by showing you a front wrap cross carry, which is the most common carry used in a woven wrap and the first one generally taught. So you're going to find your middle marker and you're going to place it on your chest. And just like with your stretchy wrap, you're going to take one side and you're going to bring it up across your back and over your opposite shoulder. And then you're going to do the same exact thing with your other side. You're going to bring it up across your back and over your opposite shoulder. And then you have this set up. Now, you want to make sure your middle marker is still centered, and then you can pull the slack out of your pocket just by pulling your tails a little tighter. You want your pocket to probably only be about 6 to 8 inches wide. It only needs to be wide enough to fit your baby's torso in. So once you get to this position, you're going to grab your baby. You're going to place them up in birth position. Reach under through the bottom of your pocket and guide baby's feet into your pocket on your torso. And you're going to just guide the top rail of your carrier up baby's back. Make sure their feet come out the bottom. And if you have an older baby, you can leave the top tail at shoulder level. A little bit younger baby, you want 2 shoulders, and an infant or newborn you want to the bottom base of the head, top of the neck. So once you get to this point, you want to reach your arm, your hand in between you and baby to the opposite leg. Grab your bottom tail, kind of pull down a little snug, and reach up and get as much of that fabric up between you and baby as you can. You want to make sure that your fabric is spread from knee to knee and that you have baby in a good seated M position with knees higher than bum. So from this point, you're going to start tightening. So I find it easier to start with whichever tail is on the bottom side. So I'm not tightening over, so I'm not tightening a tail that's already under a tightened tail. So you're going to start by your top rail and you're going to just pull up and out. And if you need to, you can guide some of that slack around to the back and then place it in your other hand. And then same thing, grab your middle section, pull up and out, bring it into your other hand, and bottom section, pull up and out. You don't want to over tighten this bottom section though, because that's where it's at your baby's legs and you don't want it to dig in too much. So now you're going to hold this tail either in your hand or you can place it between your legs and hold it there. And you're going to tighten your other tail again in thirds. So pull the top rail and you can guide your slack around if you need to, up and out, middle section up and out, and your bottom section up and out. And I like to fold these bottom sections under so that my rails don't slip over my shoulders. And now once you get to this point, your baby should be nice and secure in your pocket and shouldn't be going anywhere. So you can take your two tails in each hand and kind of pull up and out a little bit just to make sure they're nice and snug. And you're going to guide your two tails down the side of baby, under their bum and cross. And then you want to go, your first one is over the legs, and then you're going to go under both legs around to the back. Now if you have a shorter wrap, you can tie in a double knot here, but since I have a longer wrap, I'm going to bring around to the front to double knot under bum. And you want to make sure you have a nice secure and tight double knot. Okay, so this carry is ideal for babies of any age. It just depends on what size wrap you have as to how big of a baby you can wrap in it. So this is a size 6 for me, which is bigger than my base size. So I could probably wrap her up into toddler years in this wrap. So you can wrap a newborn baby in this carry up to a child, whatever's comfortable for you. This is a great carry for having your baby close to you. You just want to always make sure that they're nice and high, close enough to monitor their breathing. It's also a good carry if you are nursing or even bottle feeding. And to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to untie your knot and kind of undo and loosen just a little bit to drop baby down, just enough to get them to breast level if you're breastfeeding. And then you cross back under bum, go under legs, and bring back to tightly double knot. And then you should have baby at the level you need to, and then you just latch baby on, feed them. As soon as you're done nursing, you want to bring them back up to your starting position, tighten everything up so that they're nice and secure. To bottle feed, you can keep them in this high position and feed them there if you like, or you can drop them down a little bit if it makes it easier on you and baby. But it's pretty much the same thing where you can nurse or bottle feed, just however is most comfortable for you. So bring baby to whichever level, and then as soon as they're done eating, if you've lowered them, you want to bring them right back up so that they are close enough to kiss and monitor their breathing, and tighten everything right back up so that you know they're nice and secure. Now, to get out of this carry, the easiest way is to actually hold baby with one hand, reach in your one shoulder strap, and guide your arm out. Grab baby with your other hand and do the same thing on the opposite side. Reach in, guide your arm out, and then bring your pocket down and pull your baby out. This is a great way to get baby out of this carry if you are, say, at a grocery store and don't want to untie your wrap and drag the tails all over the ground. But if you don't want to do it that way, you can untie. Just make sure you always have a hand securely on baby as you're loosening everything up and getting them out. I'm going to show you the coolest hip cross carry with a woven wrap. This is a base -2 for me, and it is a carry that you can pre-tie. So I'm going to start by taking one end of the wrap and placing it over the shoulder opposite where I want my baby, also the shoulder you want to carry the weight on. And I'm going to place just a little extra slack over, maybe down to my hip or so. And then I'm going to take the other tail of my wrap, make sure it's not bunched or twisted in the back, and I'm going to spread it around my waist to the back and bring it back around front. And then I'm going to take it and bring it up to the top of my other tail so I can create a knot. And I'm going to tie a slip knot. So I'm going to bring the wrap behind, up and over, and then in front, and bring it the tail back through the loop I created. You're okay. Shh. You're then going to grab your baby with your knot pre-tied on your shoulder, and you're going to place their back leg through the bottom cross, which should be the back cross. And then you're going to do the same thing with their front leg in the front cross. Now, at this point, you're going to take and spread the fabric knee to knee for the bottom pass, and up your baby, and you're going to do the same thing for the top pass. Spread the fabric knee to knee and up your baby. And at this point, if you need to, because you made a slip knot, you can tighten through the top. It's a little harder to tighten your top cross through your slip knot, but you can always guide your extra slack all the way around to your back pass and then pull your slack through your hanging fabric of your slip knot here, which makes it a little bit easier to tighten. And then once your baby's all tight and secure, you want to take your knot and take the tail of the slip knot and pull it snug to lock your slip knot in place. And that is the coolest hip cross carry. This is a poppable carry, which means you can leave it tied and take your baby out and put him back in without having to retie everything. You want to make sure that baby is always seated in a good M position with knees higher than bum. This carry is a good carry for an older child as it requires a lot of head and torso control, so it's not ideal for infants and newborns. It's also a good carry for a leg straightening baby or a seat popper. Maybe not as ideal for a leaning baby because it's harder to get coverage up at the top part of your baby. So with this, especially if you have a leaner like I do, you want to make sure that you are always keeping an eye on your baby, maybe keep a hand on them. To get out of this carry, you're just going to simply slide your passes down to the bottom and pull your baby out. And then you can leave your carry like this, and next time you want to carry your baby, just pop them back in. And that is the coolest hip cross carry. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a ruck, also in a woven wrap, my base -2. So for a ruck, which is a back carry, you are going to find your middle marker of your wrap, and I'm going to do a Superman toss. So you're going to put the middle marker on the center of your baby's wrap and kind of drape the wrap over their shoulders, grab onto their torso, and then toss them over your shoulder, kind of like putting on a jacket, and bend down while keeping one hand on baby at all times. And then you're going to pull your wrap out, make sure it's not caught under baby while leaning over. And then you're going to take your top 2 rails, pull them snug, and pin them under your chin. And now you're going to take your bottom rail, kind of tug it down, and pull it up between you and baby to create a nice deep seat. I find it works best to reach between your body and baby's legs to do this. Then you're going to take one tail at a time and tighten strand by strand in thirds or fourths. And I like to take my bottom tail and tuck it underneath my tail there so that they don't slip. Now that you have your tails tightened, you're going to take them around to your back to make your straps, and you're going to go over the top of baby's legs, cross under the bottom, and then bring back under baby's legs to tie in a double knot in the front. So a ruck is a really good carry to start out learning for a back carry. You want to make sure baby is always seated in a good M position with knees higher than bum, that you're nice and snug and secure, and that baby's not going anywhere. This carry is good for use with older infants, ones who are able to sit unassisted and have good neck and torso control are good markers to know if your baby's ready or not, especially for a beginner wearer. You want to be comfortable with a front carry before you try any back carries. And it's also a good idea when you're first starting out to either practice over a couch or a bed, some soft surface, and have a spot or two if you can, just to make things go a little easier and make everyone feel a little better. Now, to get out of this carry, you are going to untie your knot, guide your rails while keeping tension back off your baby to the front, and then while holding both tails in one hand, grab under baby's bottom and kind of scooch around to the front. Grab with the other hand and then bring around completely to the front. I am now going to show you how to do a back wrap cross carry with a half knot in a woven wrap. I will be using a size 6. This is a good carry done with at least base size wrap. Now, this is a good carry to learn for beginners because it starts out with a half knot, which secures your baby in place so you can really concentrate on wrapping your baby well. Now, to start this carry, I'm going to place my baby on my back using a Superman toss. So I'm going to find the middle marker of my wrap, place it on the center of my baby's back, drape the wrap over her shoulders, grab her torso, and lift her up and over my shoulder into position, always keeping a hand on her. The toss is kind of like putting on a jacket. So I'm going to kind of bounce her down where I want her to be. For a back rack cross carry, the carry is a little bit lower, more like mid to low back is where your baby's going to be seated. And so you're going to take your wrap, and I like to create a seat first. So you're going to tighten up your top rail and pin it under your chin. Grab the bottom rail of your fabric, pull down and up between you and baby to create a nice deep seat. It works best if you reach between your body under baby's legs to pull the fabric up between you two. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your tails one at a time, and you want to bring them down underneath your arms. And once you get to that, you're going to gather and tighten each tail, making sure that baby's legs are free and unobstructed, and you're going to tie a half knot here. Oops. Make sure it's nice and snug. And at this point you can stand up a little more because baby should be nice and snug. You can kind of bounce a little and tighten your knot if you feel like you need to. Now you're going to take your top rail, your top tail, and you're going to kind of flip it over your shoulder. Make sure it stays nice and even and not twisted. And you're going to bring it over your baby's body as high up on them as you can get it. And you're going to bring the bottom rail under their butt and kind of tighten your tail and bring it under baby's leg to the front. And then you can pin it under your leg if you need to. And you're going to do the same thing with your bottom tail here. Flip it over your shoulder. Make sure it's not twisted. Stretch it across baby, up and over as high as you can get it. Bring the bottom rail under baby's bottom and tighten up and bring it under baby's other leg to the front where you want to tie securely in a double knot. Now, this is a good carry for beginners because you start off with a half knot so your baby is more secure. You can bring the tails over your shoulders to make it a little more comfortable if you want. You want to make sure baby is seated in a good M position with knees higher than bottom, and that the fabric didn't catch like their feet or their toes or anything. This is an ideal carry for a baby who is developmentally ready for it. So sitting unassisted and having good neck and torso control are good developmental markers, especially for a beginner. It does sit lower, kind of in the crook of your back is where baby's going to be seated. So it's not nearly as high as a ruck would be. This is a multi-layer back carry, so it's good for seat poppers, leaners, just having that extra support of the extra layers, but it can get a little warm just because there's more layers on your baby. Safety wise, you want to make sure that if you are just starting out back wrapping, that you practice over a soft surface such as a couch or a bed, and have a spotter if possible. So to get out of this carry, you are going to untie your double knot in the front and bring the tails back around to your front. Because you have this half knot, you don't have to worry about keeping tension while you're untying at that point. Next, I like to bend down a little bit and untie my half knot while keeping tension in the tails to make sure baby doesn't go anywhere. And then I grab both tails in one hand with tension, grab under baby's bottom in the other hand, and scooch them around to the front, grabbing their weight with my other hand to get them all the way to the front.